All right, guys, we're gonna have to start being honest about certain things, particularly women. Women are gonna have to start being honest. That women are many women in the United States. Um, you're gonna have to admit that single moms are the worst parents, bar none. Not single parents, single moms, and really mothers in general have a problem parenting on their own or raising kids that can be productive, long-term citizens for nationwide. You know, um, the reason why I say this is because there is a trend that I see on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, where you have other younger women complaining about their exes or men that they dated in the past. There's a trend of them complaining about their relationship with their mother. Now, we're going to go into that, but we're going to play this video where this woman says it's a red flag. What's a prominent red flag in a guy? Let's take a listen.
What's a red flag in a guy?
When they have a weird relationship with their mom, like when their mom is in love with them and the boy is like talks weird about his mom.
Why do you think so?
I feel like then you're kind of competing with the mother, and the mom isn't really going to like you because she adores her son so much and they have this weird bond. So then she kind of expects you to play a mother role in her son's life.
What's a red flag in a guy?
When they have a weird relationship.
So when she said that, people are talking about, no, she's talking about emotional incest. So right here says there's love for your mother, then there's emotional incest. She's talking about the latter. Now, this is where I have questions, right? So we're going to look at this top comment. It says moms aren't like that when they are married, right? Now, when we're talking about emotional incest, when we're talking about son husbands, this is usually coming from the single moms. Now, many people in these comments were talking about, no, married moms, they do the worst. They do it like that. They do it. And I'm like, no. Particularly what happens to the moms that are married, right? And I'm going to discuss a couple of scenarios. You're not dealing with emotional incest on that end, for the most part, or what she was talking about in here. What happens with the mom that is married and then she has a son, what happens is when she gets older, she wants to make sure that her son is not being manipulated by a 304. And sometimes she might get a little bit too involved, or she'll have her say, sometimes too much of a say, right? Now, this is what happens. This is the primary thing that will happen. And this will only happen in a married scenario. So this already exits out a group of women, which I will not name, right? So if you, like, I've heard this from primarily from religious families, or from a religious type homes, where the couple will be married, right? And the son's mom was married. The dad dies. The son's dad dies first, obviously, and it kind of leaves grandma a little bit stranded. So she doesn't want to go to a nursing home, and then she ends up moving in with the family. And that usually ends up breaking up the marriage or being one of the catalysts of breaking up the marriage, because the son's mom has to move in. So that's something that happens. That's something primarily that happens. But let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. This is what I think is going on here. When they're talking about emotional incest and them having a weird relationship with the mother, this is where then I ask the question, okay, the behavior that you're describing is usually coming from single moms, right? And the weird relationships that they will have with their son. Hence the term son husband, because the single mom doesn't have the husband. So that kind of behavior that I think you're hinting to. So wouldn't that mean single moms will you finally admit that single moms are part of the problem? And it'll be like, no, this actually comes from married moms. No. Will you finally admit that single moms are the problem? And then they'll say no. And then I'll be like, okay, so what is this really about? Because if a man were to come up in here and say, a red flag in a woman is a girl that has a weird relationship with their dad. People be, what would happen if a man said that? They'll be like, why would you even think about it like that? Or they'll be like, well, pick one. I thought you guys wanted girls that had relationships with their dads. And there it is. You actually hear men When they say what's a red flag in a woman, they'll say is a woman that doesn't have a good relationship with her dad. But I've heard plenty of women on this app say it's a red flag if a man has a good relationship with her mom or his sister. And I keep hearing that. That's why I keep hearing. And I'm talking about just they don't even explain themselves. They just say if he has a good relationship with his mom, then it's a red flag. And I'm starting to understand why that is. It's not even the single mammy stuff, the emotional incest, because that's a whole other issue. Because she mentioned something about competing with the mom, and why would you feel the need to compete with the mom? You're fucking him. What are you talking about competing with the mom? So what it really is, because first of all, we already know that, and especially men, we already know back in the day, men used to literally have to go to specific daughter's house and literally be like, ask the father's hand in marriage and all. The get the father's blessing first. Do you know how much pressure that was on ninjas, on men in general? Are you kidding me? Especially back in the day when they had to do that. And even still to this day, you will never hear a man say, "Oh, it's a red flag if the daughter's too close to the father." You'll never hear a man say that. So why are women saying that, but in inverse? Really, what it is, women rely on manipulation to get what they want. Bottom line, all of it is manipulation. Now, if you enter another woman into the fold that have a vested interest in their son, and it's not necessarily the son's best interest, but if you're dealing with a woman that's really close to her son, especially if he's taking care of her, she's looking at you as, okay, if you're going to end up taking our son out the game, meaning if my son starts taking care of you, he's slowly going to cut me off because he's going to need to take care of you. So what kind of person are you for me to have to let go of my son? So whatever manipulation, trickery, or whatever things that you try to do, it's not going to work on her because she's going to see it coming. There have been women that have typed in my where I've said my things about single moms and what they need to do. There have been women that have in the comment section say, how can I talk to you because my son is getting manipulated by this 304 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm a single mom. I fucked up, but he needs counsel and blah. Do you know how many women have given me that kind of message in there? Now, this shows me that the mom knows, because mothers, they'll end up paying the piper if they separate the kid from the father long enough. They'll end up paying the piper because they're going to end up falling for a 304 that's going to be manipulating them, and the mom's going to know exactly what she's doing. This is why I believe, because if you're not a manipulative person and you're just whatever, you do what you need to do and whatever, the only time you're going to have problems with the mom is if you're in a situation that I discussed earlier, if you are married to the guy already, and then the son's mom wants to move in with you guys. That is the only time you're gonna have problems with the mom. Trust. And let's keep it a buck. Most of you 304s, backseat warriors, pillow biters, y'all are not dealing with that situation. Y'all are just messing with certain dudes, particularly dudes that were raised by single moms or others, but really you're not in a solid situation anyways. So anytime if a mom is intervening, you're looking at her as a threat, because women are just looking at each other. They're always looking at each other as threats. So right here, let's take a listen to what she has to say again.
Relationship with their mom, like when their mom is in love with them and the boy is like talks weird about his mom.
So yeah, like that, what she's describing, that's what you hear from, that's single mom and son behavior and son husband behavior. That's not married mom. If the mom's married and then she has a son, trust me. So I remember there were people in the comments section trying to convince us as otherwise. Because I was in the comments like, okay, so can we finally admit that single moms are like the worst, or just moms in general cannot raise sons, but they need like can we like now admit this, like moms cannot raise sons? But you're literally saying that's the biggest red flag if the mom has a relationship with the son. So I'm like, okay, so we already, if it's married, nah. So now I'm really realizing it's not even just that. It's really they know if the mom's there, it's going to be harder. If the mom has a vested interest in the son, it's going to be harder to use the same manipulation tricks that she can. Like, say, if. So I'm like, so will you finally admit that it's actually better for the son to have a better relationship with the father than the mother? Oh, no, they need both. Nah. Because I was in the comment section and I was like, okay, can we finally admit that moms cannot raise sons? That's basically what you're saying. But like I said, when it comes to dealing with logic with women, you know what I'm saying? Because she's kind of exposing herself here, right?
Why do you think so?
I feel like then you're kind
See, I feel like already off rip, like, oh, here we go. So right here. So let's see her reason. Because the first half, what she was describing is what you see from single moms in the son husbands. That's what that behavior that she described at first, that's from single moms. That's not mostly from married women. That's from single moms. Married moms usually have the problem where is when her husband dies and she only has her son left and she's left stranded, meaning she doesn't want to go into the nursing home. This is when and she wants to move in with the son. That is the only time you'll see the married mom and like the son's living girlfriend or living wife will have a problem.
kind of
Like I know there's also a great story I remember because women know women, and if the woman has a vested interest in the boy, they'll be able to read the manipulation tactics whatever girl is around him is doing. So I remember the story when it was a dude that told the story about how his mom came to visit. It was like his mom or his aunt. I think no, it was his mom. His mom came to visit him, and the mom came and visited him at his apartment, and then a girl, she saw a girl in the living room, and she was like, "Who's that?" And then the son was like, "Oh, that's my roommate. We're not together, but that's my roommate." And she was like, "Oh, yeah." she already knew he was capping. She already knew, or she knew that she knew in the way like at the end she did a trick on them to kind of expose them for sleeping with each other because women know they probably started off at roommates, but when she knows she couldn't pay her half of the bills anymore, she started sleeping with the dude. That's how it works. That's why I tell dudes don't sleep with your female roommate. Because when you see her, oh, now she's starting to advance on you, start giving you signals and whatnot to sleep. That's because she can't afford her half anymore. No, nope. You're going to pay what you owe. Because when she starts sleeping with you, she's not going to start paying what she owes. You're going to start footing in for the full bill. But it was like she came up with a trick to where she was able to find out or get them to basically self-snitch on themselves that they were sleeping with each other. Because women know other women. They know. So right here, she's going to explain, okay, why do you feel that way in terms of, okay, if he has a weird relationship with his mom is a red flag. But let's look at her reasoning, though. Look at her reasoning.
competing with the mother, and the mom isn't really going to like you because she adores her son so much, and they have this weird bond. So then she kind of expects you to play a
So for her to even mention competing, this is where I get confused. Like, what do you mean competing with the mother? If you're the one sleeping with the son, what are you talking? You already have the leg up. You're sleeping with her son. You have the leg up. But I'm talking about you, not only just on the mom, on everybody else in the world. You're sleeping with him. You have the leg up. Especially if you're dating a regular normal guy. If you're sleeping with him, you have the leg up on damn near everybody in the world. So for her to talk about competing, I clearly what you were doing wasn't enough. And then on top of that, your little game, whatever you were trying to run, that shit probably wasn't going to slide because she was probably giving her son counsel about who you were. So like I said, don't let that innocent look confuse y'all, because manipulation, mental manipulation, sexual manipulation, that's all they got over that a woman has over a man.
mother role in her son's life.
What's the red flag in a guy?
When they have
So meaning she probably got scolded by said mother by not being able to cook, clean and stuff, which is normal because if you was bringing that, like a lot of women are not bringing that, and once they get called out, oh, you have a weird relationship with a mom, you're expecting me to play a mother role, but yet you want us to play the father role by providing everything and not even ask about 50-50. You know what I'm saying? So like, this is where And then right here, you'll see that you saw some of the comments. Half the men in the comments are definitely having incestuous relationship with their mom. It's wild. It's wild. You know what I mean? Someone said she's valid with this take. I will say no. I will say no, because I know if a man came on here and said if a red flag in a girl is a girl that has a weird relationship with her father, do you know how much shaming language that man would have gotten? But I'm talking about from men and women. So I keep hearing this theme where it's just a man is a red flag if he has a good relationship with his mom, basically, or any type of relationship far beyond what's on paper. It's a red flag, and it's only a red flag for me. I mean, sorry, for them in a woman's eyes. I think it's because of the manipulation tactics. They're not able to use the usual things for a man to do things her way because the mom is in the way. Because at the end of the day, they still don't want to throw the single moms under the bus because they're the leaders of this type of things, but they don't want to throw them under the bus. All right. So what else is it? What else is it? What else is it? They don't want to say it.